What is going on, you guys? It's Anil with Woodwork, and if this is your first time here, welcome. Today we're going to be doing a closet transformation in 11 days. I'm going to share with you some tips on how we got it done, some ways to get a professional look, and you may see some things you've never seen before when it comes to a closet install. So stick around and enjoy the video. Over here, what you're looking at is VCarve Pro. This is the software that I'm using right now to design everything. And basically, these are all the parts that are in the closet build. So you can see everything is laid out within here. We have some panels that have the pinholes already in there. So now I gotta go through and add the tool paths to each one of these sheets so that my CNC machine knows exactly how to cut these, and then we're gonna take this over to the shop and get everything cut. Now, first things first, with all of our builds, it all starts on the Phantom CNC. We bought this back in August of 2023. This has been a game changer in our shop. It expedites the process significantly. The time it took for us to do pinholes in most of our builds used to take like a day and a half of doing all that. Now we get it done in like 3 minutes. And as you can see, it's putting dados. It'll cut the actual cabinet parts, put rabbets. It'll essentially do anything you do on a computer. It'll convert over to our machine and it'll get it all cut for us. What I love most about the CNC is the fact that you can cut so many parts on one 4x8 sheet and maximize that sheet. And then once you're finished, you remove your parts, you slide another sheet onto the CNC machine, and you keep that process going. Now, what you're looking at here are the shells for the shoes. You can see in the corners there are little pins or tabs where the shelf pins are gonna hook onto that shelf to keep it in place. And then once we have all of that cut out, like I said before, we just remove it from our CNC machine and then we move on to the next step. And then once we have all of our parts sorted out, we bring it over to our hot air edge bander to just get every piece edge band together. This edge bander, we picked it up from Rockler, and it saves us a significant amount of time because we used to do things manually with the iron. But this definitely helps get the edge banding on as quick as possible. Once we're finished edge banding, we use the J-roller to flatten everything out. Then we bring everything over to our Craig jig. This is another tool we added to the shop. It speeds up the process. It's small, compact, so you can't have it in a garage shop if you need it, but it just adds those pocket holes without having to use so much manual labor. Now, what I'm doing here with the shells on the table saw is cutting a 26-degree bevel on one end, and you're gonna see later on in the video why I'm cutting these bevels. The shoe racks aren't gonna sit flat, they're gonna sit at somewhat of an angle. And this is how everything is going to tie in when you see it later on, how it all comes together. Now, I know I am jumping around just a little bit, but we're edge banding some stretchers. So we edge band the fronts of the closet parts, the stretchers, any shelves that need edge banding. And then once we have everything together, we put it all aside. Now, while I'm working on that, Chandler is working on the drawer fronts as well as the door pieces. So he's just cutting up some maple to get it ready, cutting it down to the final size that it needs to be, and then we're going to be running it through the planer to get all four sides squared. I'm sure a cross-cut sled would work better than using the tool that comes with the saw stop, but because we're not doing these cross-cuts so often, it just works for us. And he's just checking the sizes and then running it through our Grizzly planer. If you don't have one of these in your shop, definitely get one. You don't need this one. They do have a DeWalt. I think it's a 735X. It works phenomenal. Then I'm back to edge banding more pieces. I believe this is day 2 of the process because Chandler isn't here at the shop. But after I edge band these pieces, I believe I'm finished with the edge banding. Like I said before, if you don't have one of these edge banders, it's definitely a tool you want to have in the shop, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of European style cabinets or cabinetry that doesn't have face frames, because it just speeds up the process for you. So check this out. I found this tool by Montana. It's a multi-tool. It's like a pre-drill bit plus a drill bit. So instead of having to flip between 2 different tools, you use one drill bit, you pre-drill your holes, and then flip the tip around, and then you're screwing in your screws. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested in looking more into it. But it's definitely a cool tool to have, especially if you don't have a bunch of drills to swap between. Now, here's a pro tip for you. If you don't use plywood spacers, you definitely should start doing so. That sheet of plywood I slipped in there is the exact spacing each side needed to be. It just makes it easier than having to measure one side and hold it in place. Now these dados I'm cutting into these maple fronts tie into the shoe shelves that I cut earlier in the video. They're cut at a 26-degree angle, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm gonna glue that shelf into that groove and then pin nail it into place. That'll let the glue dry, and then once the glue is dry, I'll come back in and then cut the sides to their final length. Now what this does here is it sits at an angle instead of sitting flat on 4 shelf pins, and it just gives it more of a professional look. Who doesn't like a professional look? Alright you guys, now it's time to get funky. So we created a base that's 4 inches tall. We're using a base instead of individual cabinet parts because it's easier to install on a leveled platform. So you can see here we're just putting things into place and then we screw them into the walls through the stretchers. Now all of our cabinet parts are unpainted in this project. The reason why is because you run into issues where you nick your cabinet parts if they're painted already. So instead we just install everything unpainted and then our painters come in and do the finishing work. If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you tremendously, and the reason why is you're going to see it right here in this clip. I pulled a muscle in my back and it killed me. So if you're watching this video, thank you. It definitely helps out the channel. Make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you're doing all that good jazzy stuff, because we gotta bump up the subscriber count. We're trying to get to 100K so I can get that cool little plaque to put in my house. But yeah, now we're just measuring things out to ensure everything is equal. The reason why is because this cabinet part that you're looking at is the focal point of the closet. So we want to ensure that that's the most equal, leveled, squared, all of that. Now here's another pro tip for you guys. Instead of adding your upper cubbies directly on top of your closet system, use some type of spacing, 3/4 inch spacing that has a little bit of depth between the lower cabinet parts and your upper cabinet parts. Reason why is because it makes it look much more professional, and you don't have those weird seams that you're trying to caulk and spackle in between. It just makes things smooth, clean, and easy to work through. You'll see when it's all painted how it comes out looking, but that spacing just allows you to have that much more of a professional finished look. Now, while the guys are at the house spraying the closet, I'm here just spraying the shelves with my HVLP. This is an Apollo paint sprayer. We don't use it as often, but I used it on this project. It works very well. The turbine system itself is great. It has a digital meter that'll tell you what your PSI is. I used to use my Graco. Now I use their turbine system, but I swap between my Fuji gun and my Graco gun because I like those two guns a lot. Now the color the client went with is called Spanish Olive. We use Renner wood coatings. It's an Italian-based paint, high quality paint. It's expensive, but it's very, very good when it comes to cabinet projects. We use it all the time. And here's one of those shoe racks that I assembled earlier in the video. Check it out. Ooh. Yes, sir. Now you can see the shelves are different. After the client saw the angled shelves, she decided she wanted just the standard style that you're seeing there. But we made the glass door, the hardware with the Spanish Olive tied in. You can see that depth between the upper cabinets and the lower closet units. We use crown molding, all of that. Yeah, this was fun. See ya.